Hi, gratitude seekers, and welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Today, I want you to meet Stephen Dynako, Courage Builder. What does that mean, Stephen?
Yeah, hi, Georgian. I'm happy to be on your program, so thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm what I call a courage builder. I have a courage building practice, and really what that means is that I work with people to help them connect with their inherent talents. So as people go through life, kind of like the normal expectations of life might take people away from what they're inherently good at or what they inherently have a passion for. So as a courage builder, I really help people to look within, to really get reconnected with what their natural strengths are, with their talents, and then how can they use that more powerfully in their self-development, in improving their relationships, in evolving their careers and their purpose. Mm-hmm. And also then all of that then results in making the world a better place. So as you build your own courage within, it ripples to benefit you, the people you're around, the people you work with, and then the world at large.
Awesome. I like the vision. And I also believe that I've heard it actually from somewhere, I don't know for sure from where, that to be happy, you need to be courageous, because being happy is a courageous act, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I absolutely believe that. Yeah, and that's what I help people do. Find the courage to be happy, because it is a courageous act.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because we don't think about this in such a way, but sometimes you need to be courageous in order to make yourself and to have a happy life, actually.
Yeah.
So it's great that you're doing this work.
Yeah, thank you.
My first question for you is, if you have a favorite gratitude quote, what would that be, and why did you choose it?
Yeah, so among my favorite gratitude quotes is what Jesus said after when he was about to raise Lazarus from the dead. And what he says is that, thank you, God, for hearing me. I know that you always hear me. And that to me is a really powerful quote, because then to me that puts us in a consciousness of gratitude. So it's not in reaction to something, but it's actually a proactive way of being, to know that God, the divine, the universe, by whatever name you want to call it, that it is always hearing us. Mm-hmm. And therefore we can be in a stream of gratitude, and not in gratitude for something that is in reaction to something good happening.
Interesting. I really didn't think of gratitude this way, but indeed, it makes total sense. And if you have sometimes when it's not that easy to be grateful, do you have something that you do to help you get more grateful?
Right. So there's a classic practice that I believe probably many of your listeners and you probably are familiar with, is to do a daily gratitude, like a gratitude journal. The way that I do it is with a gratitude jar. So I take slips of paper every day. This is at the end of the day, and I'll write one thing that I'm grateful for in the day. And then you put the slip in the jar, and you basically do that for the whole year, and you sort of meditate on the amount of gratitude that's building up in the jar. Wow. And it's a method of awareness. It goes back to that stream of gratitude. So in a journal, you can write your gratitudes in a journal, and I think that's a very powerful thing, to write them on strips of paper and then put them in a jar, you actually kind of get to see the volume build as the year goes along. So that's been my gratitude practice for this year. Is very intentional about starting it. And I did that also a couple of years ago. Somebody had actually given me a jar.
Oh, cool.
A gratitude jar. So I decided to use that and fill it with all of these pieces of gratitude.
Yeah,
you know,
that's really awesome.
It just takes one a day.
So
yeah, and it's amazing to see it fill up.
And do you like at the end of the year, do you go into the jar and see the reasons that you put there every day, or?
Yeah, I mean that's a nice way to sort of at the end of the year, or you really could do it anytime. It's just sort of like randomly pluck out those strips and look at the gratitude and just ponder them. Whether you read them all or not, I mean, I don't think it's really up to you what your preference is. Certainly you could read all of them. It should not be a chore though. It should be something that if you go into it, read them just to think, wow, it's amazing, all of the gratitude or all of the things that have occurred in my life for which I'm grateful. So going back to review them it can be beneficial. Just sort of looking at the jar with all the stuff in it, with all the gratitude is beneficial too. So I don't think there's any prescription for it. It's just however it moves you. So at the end of the year, we'll see. I will probably go through some of them randomly. But then my consciousness is going to be about continuing that practice and just being aware of what's I'm grateful for from day to day.
That's awesome. I also believe this way of doing things visually, because you can actually see the gratitude. You can actually see the gratitude getting bigger, having more and more reasons. And I think that would be good to use, like I asked you, especially when you are down and you feel like you have no reasons to be grateful, to be happy, and you can go there and see all of the reasons and remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good tip. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just add really quick, another gratitude practice that I've had is at the end of the day, and this takes a little bit more time, but spending like 5 minutes or 10 minutes and just going through like your day in your head, starting with the morning, like when you get up and just really consciously going back to the moments in your day for which you were grateful. So it could be as simple as like, oh, I got out of bed this morning. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the breakfast I had. I'm grateful for a meeting I had with somebody. And it's just, and you realize that these things, the flow of gratitude, it's always there. And I believe like our challenge as human beings, particularly in a very busy society, is just to fix our consciousness on it.
Yeah.
But if going back through your day in your head and just plucking out those pieces, those things, those events for which you're grateful, that's another really powerful practice that I've done before.
Yeah, I think this is what we naturally do when we are very happy for a day. We naturally think about all of the amazing things that happened in that day, and we think that we can only have this by doing that, by being happy. But in fact, we can do this as a practice, and we can get that happy every day if we keep at it.
Absolutely.
This is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell me and our audience a meaningful experience that made you a more grateful person?
Sure. And it's hard to narrow it down to one experience. Yeah. But what I will say about it is that it's been in my life whenever I've consciously made the choice to be vulnerable. So particularly, the history of my life is that I've been a very shy person when I was young. Find it challenging to trust others, but then as I've matured and I've become more conscious and more courageous, for that matter, I've chosen to be vulnerable and open myself more to people that I feel close to, people that I trust. So my experience is that the more I can be vulnerable to people I trust and the people that I have close relationships with, the more grateful I am. Like I'm grateful that I can express my need for their support or my need for them to simply just listen.
Yeah.
And it's, until you asked the question, I wouldn't have connected vulnerability with gratitude, but I realize that the practice of vulnerability leads to moments where I can be grateful in relationship with others.
This is a really interesting correlation. I didn't think about this myself also. And I think the two really have a deep connection, because if you feel like you're alone and you are very like, all you do is yourself, all the things that you do, you can do them yourself, and you don't ask for help. You're not vulnerable in front of others. It's a bit harder to be grateful, because you feel that you don't have any reasons to be grateful for other people, because you don't give them the opportunity to do something for you so that you are grateful for that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is a courageous act to express that vulnerability, because you may ask for something or for someone to be present to you. Like that might be your need, is like, I need someone to listen, and they don't have to give that to you. Like I think that the risk of vulnerability is that we don't get what we need. So the courage is in being vulnerable and in trusting. And the courage is also to be prepared for, to not get what we need. But then the gratitude is in knowing that, well, there's somebody else I can go to. So, yeah.
Yeah, like George said, we are always taken care of.
Right.
Even when we are not aware of this, we are always taken care of.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's very beautiful and deep.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self about gratitude?
Yeah. I would say that gratitude, it's a practice. That it's something to be intentional about, particularly if the desire or the need is to feel something deeply. So that gratitude is a practice. And I when I was younger, to me, gratitude would have just been saying, thank you. Like, for instance, when we grow up, like as children, and you have a birthday party, and you thank people for coming to your party. You thank them for the gifts they give you. But then, like in my own experience being younger, it was more like of an obligation to express that. Like, my mom told me I had to say thank you.
Exactly.
So as I've gotten older and have kind of matured into what it means to be grateful, it's very much about practicing gratitude. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier about the gratitude jar or the gratitude journal. So I think I would tell my younger self that, keep practicing gratitude. And I believe I've done that. And also that gratitude is free.
Yeah.
Like we can express and give gratitude abundantly, and it's not like we lose anything. We're not spending anything that that results in a loss of something. Like I'm grateful to you for being on this program today, right? And I will do a number of other activities today and interact with other people today for whom I'm grateful. And I can be consciously grateful to all of them, and I'm not losing anything. Actually, if anything, I feel more energized. Mm-hmm. So that would be the message I would give my younger self, is to be graciously abundant with my gratitude.
Awesome. It's really interesting that you mentioned this with being obligated to say thank you when you are younger, because I actually wrote an article on this on my website, georgianbenta.com. And it was exactly on this topic, on the fact that we are taught to say thank you, but we are not taught how to feel that thank you, to feel gratitude when we say it. It's like, of course, you need to say thank you for this or for that, but the part that is not seen, like the feeling that you have when you say it, which in my opinion is even more important, is left out. Mm-hmm. And that's why I created the challenge in the article for people when they say thank you, to do it consciously. Like when you say thank you, to actually feel it.
Right.
And in everyday life, you say thank you because it's a social norm. But it's a great feeling when saying thank you and also feeling the gratefulness when somebody helps you or somebody does something for you, or whenever it is that you say thank you. I think this is something that's a great practice also in gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you feel like where you are right now in your life, in your career, in your relationship, do you feel like gratitude has helped you get to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody who is embarking on their own business or has done their own business for a while, and even in people who've worked for other people, because I have experience both working for companies and I have experience as an entrepreneur, and work and career are challenging things, and they're very much, they're such a big part of our lives, right? We spend the majority of every day at work, I would say. That's regardless of whether you're working for a company or you're working for yourself. And gratitude is really, it's the thing that I believe, it's one of the things that really plays a key role in keeping one focused, in keeping one energized, in keeping one hopeful. I mean, there certainly have been times in my career, whether it's been working for somebody else or working on my own, where you're prone to despair, either because you may not like what you're doing in the moment, you may feel you're not making any progress, you may have had a bad interaction with a coworker or with someone or a client, and it's in those moments that conscious practice of gratitude, and not that you're asking for more misery, but to just be grateful that for me, that I have the courage to keep going, for instance, or that what I'm being challenged with now will pass. Like being grateful that the challenges, that they're here and they're present and they will pass, as will all of the afflictive emotions around those, right? So yeah, I think gratitude is just, I think it's a type of fuel, is the way that I would put that. And the more consciously that we practice it, the more we can tap into that source that energy source.
That's awesome. I also think that consciously choosing to see things from a gratefulness perspective makes things different, because how we see things, like you said, if we are in a situation that's hard right now, if we think that it will pass, it's awesome. But some people, for instance, when they are happy, they choose to think about the fact that it might go away, and instead of being grateful for the thing that is happening, they're thinking, oh my God, it might go away, or something like that.
Right.
And it's all about our perspective, and that's why gratitude is something that we all have. Like you said, it's free.
Right.
We can all use it, and we can choose to see the world from another angle.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I recently I had this idea of making a 2-column list. Like like when do I feel happy, and like when am I not happy? And in the column of where do I feel happy, it's like I'm happy when I'm in gratitude was one of the examples. I'm happy when I'm in the moment, right? And then on the other side, I'm not happy when I'm obsessed with the future.
Yeah.
I'm not happy when I'm thinking too much about outcomes. I'm not happy when I'm not in the present. So yeah, I mean, gratitude, it's a very powerful way, I believe, to bring us into the moment as well.
Yeah.
Which then leads to happiness, feeling happy.
Yeah.
And having an attitude of happiness.
Exactly. Because we believe that we were taught to believe that we need this or that to be happy, when in fact we only need to change our perspective.
Right. And those are so much end states, right? Like we think of like gratitude. Is it an end state? Is happiness an end state, or is it a conscious process? So, if I'm in gratitude, I'm living as a grateful person, or I'm living as a happy person. I think so much in our society, it's like there's this notion that happiness is some destination that's off in the future. If only
exactly.
I achieve this, if only I'm popular, or if only I'm able to get these things, then I'll reach the destination of happiness, and then I can be grateful. And really, the truth is that happiness and gratitude they're accompanying us along the path of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I also believe. It's like when the holidays are coming, like Christmas, you feel happy because it's Christmas, it's the holidays, it's beautiful. And I'm thinking, why not be happy all year long? I mean, you don't need to wait for Christmas to be happy, even though it's great to have some weeks or a period of time in which you give yourself the permission to be happy.
Right.
But you can give it all year long, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's much better because it's the journey itself. It doesn't. You don't have to get to a destination to get happy.
Right. Yeah. And maybe perhaps part of the reason why the holidays can be so depressing for people is that, and this would be unconscious, but there's something about struggling to feel grateful. Like this is the season of giving and receiving, and and then the self-judgment is like, why don't I feel grateful, or why isn't my life going so well? And I believe, to your point, having the attitude and that conscious practice of gratitude through the year would mitigate any kind of despair during the holidays.
Exactly.
Maybe not eliminate it, but it can mitigate it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I really think that it's one of the reasons people get depressed in that part of the year, because they are forced somehow. They need to be happy, and if they feel like there's something wrong with them, they're not happy. Everybody seems at least to be happy. Like I've talked with Meryl Hershey-Beck in one of the past episodes. She was called Smiley. Like everyone thought she was happy all the time. She was smiling all the time, but inside there was a struggle. It wasn't easy for her to live life and to go through the challenges that she had. But she was smiley. People saw that she was smiley, and maybe people thought, okay, why am I not happy like Merle, for instance? And I
Yeah.
think that this is what uh, we as human beings have a tendency to do. Like we see other people that seem to be happy, and we think that something's wrong with us, that we are not. And I
Yeah.
think that it's not something that it's something that we can choose to be different, and to
Right.
understand that it's great that other people are happy. And we can also think in those moments when the holidays are coming, um, we can start thinking about the things that we are grateful for, and have already a habit in that direction, and it will be much easier for us to have much happier holidays.
Right.
Past.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a saying that goes something, and I'm paraphrasing it, but it's something like that comparison is the mother of misery. Right.
Mm.
So when we compare ourselves against other people, we create all these stories in our heads about like, oh, well, I'm not as happy as this person, or I'm not as successful as that person.
Yeah,
And we really don't even know what's going on with them, truly.
exactly, exactly.
So it takes us, again, it's one of those things that takes us outside of the presence of ourselves. So as I'm talking through this, I'm realizing that even consciousness is something to be grateful for,
Yeah,
to just be self-aware, to be grateful for my self-consciousness and my self-awareness, and that I don't have to compare myself to others. I think for so many of us, like we have fallen into that trap many times. I know I have. And it's a source of misery. So, can I be conscious enough to just be here, and in this moment, and I'm interacting with you, and we're having this deep conversation and this reflection, and that's all there is right now.
exactly.
That's all there is, and I'm grateful for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. By the way, do you want to mention some people that you are in your life that you are grateful for?
Sure. I'm there. There are so many, of course. Yeah. So this will be a short list. Is how I'll qualify this. I mean, I'm grateful for my parents, for sure. It was through their union that I'm here. So I'm grateful for my parents, and just what I've learned from them, through bringing me up, through their wisdom and through how they challenged me, whether those challenges were conscious or unconscious, right? So like, as we all grow up, there are things that our parents share wisdom with us in teaching, and we have different reactions to those things. Sometimes we want to push it away and disregard it, and other times we'll be like, okay. As we get older, I think we reflect on that, like, oh, actually, my dad and my mom, they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm grateful for all of it. Like, I'm grateful for the whole package of wisdom, whether it felt good to me in the moment or not, or whether I rejected it at one point or not. So I'm grateful to my parents. I'm grateful to my partner. I'm with a very lovely woman who is just hugely supportive of what I'm doing in my work, and she's courageous for for being in the moment with me, moment to moment. You know, we are different people, and when you're in a relationship with people, everyone gets triggered by their stuff.
Yeah.
So,
of course,
you know, whether it's with parents, with partners, with friends, and I'm grateful that we both do our best to practice self-awareness with one another, and to be open about sharing the things that trouble us as well as the things that we're joyful about, and to be vulnerable with one another.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. I'm grateful for my colleagues, the people who support me in the work I'm doing today, who share their wisdom with me. I'm grateful for their collaboration. You know, I'm much more a collaborative person now than I used to be.
That's
I've been an entrepreneur before, and I've done it as a solo act. And my intention is that I want to be collaborative with people, because, you know, the question I sort of ask them, not so much out loud, but just in consciousness, is like, how can I support what you're doing? And what gifts can you offer me? Right? So there's this exchange of energy and ideas, because my work is enhanced by the gifts you bring to our collaboration, and your work is enhanced by the gifts I give to you.
exactly
Right? And those gifts are different. Like I have certain knowledge, expertise, and wisdom that the other can use, and vice versa. So I'm grateful, you know, to be in collaboration with my colleagues. I'm grateful for my friends, and I'm grateful for everyone in the world, to the extent that I am learning from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Not, you know, and I don't have to like them all, because that's almost impossible. But to be open to the wisdom and the reminder that we are all sharing like one world together.
Yeah.
You know, and how
that we are all connected, actually.
That we're all connected, right? And grateful for that connection. And you know, what consciousness do I need to hold in order to sort of embrace the oneness, even when I'm getting triggered by certain people or certain situations?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do I hold the space to go forward and live a life affirmative existence?
Beautiful.
So I'm grateful for everybody who contributes to that, one way or the other, whether I know about it or it's still not aware, or I'm still unconscious to it, because I'm becoming conscious to it.
That's very beautiful. So, Stephen, we are getting near the end of this episode, and I want to ask you, where can people find you? Where can people see your work?
Sure. So it's pretty easy. I would just go to my website, which you'll find links to all of you know, my content, my social media links and everything. So my website is simply dynako.com. It's my last name. It's spelled DYNAKO.com. And if you go there, it'll be the portal to everything that I have available.
Awesome.
So that's where I would invite people to check out. So
if you want to build up your courage, visit Stephen's website and get in touch with him. And I'm out. I wanted to thank you, Stephen, for your time and for the nuggets of wisdom that you shared with us. And I'll see you next time.
Great, George, and thank you. I appreciate it.